I will call the Town Government Study Committee meeting to order, January 12th, 2022. The meeting is virtual. It is being recorded and all votes will be done via roll call. Players are satisfied, I think. Let me just grab the agenda. Have one member of the public who's a town hall employee here, but if anyone would like to make public comment, we'll open a public comment. Hearing none, we'll review the minutes from our last meeting, January 6th. Anyone have any edits? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Excellent. Roger?
Yes.
Kirsten?
Yes.
Mike? Phillips? Mike is a yes as well.
Sorry.
Deirdre?
Yes.
Excellent. Deirdre?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
I'm a yes as well. That's Waddell. Unanimous. Good. The final vote on the recommendation to the select board. 3 or 5. So
Patrick, can I make a motion that we table this until Harriet is present?
I don't know if she will be present. Yes, we can put it off until towards the end of the meeting. I don't know if she's got a personal commitment right now. She is hoping to make it to later. So yes, we can delay that.
At least move it to the end of tonight's agenda to see if Harriet's able to show up on. I would think that she would want to vote in the final vote.
Yes. Okay. Yep. Let's put that off. All right. Kirsten, thank you for your edits. The document has been out there for a little while.
Could I just make a couple comments on it? Just on what I did. Okay, so first of all, I've now reread it all in the easy to read version and found a few copy edits and think like one section's in all in bold that wasn't meant to be. So we can fix those. The others are, I did not include Mike's edits to the majority report because the majority didn't touch the minority report. And my expectation was that the other way was as well. So if anyone wants to look at what those edits are, they're in the folder. There wasn't a ton, but there was some. I added a table of contents. I updated the introduction as we had discussed. I did include some of the FAQs in the appendices because they weren't covered anywhere else in the report. And I felt that it would be helpful to people. And that was specifically around like, what are the legal steps required to make the change? So people didn't have to like jump through hoops trying to figure that out themselves. Other things from the FAQs did get incorporated in to the report. And then I wasn't able to add the interim report from 2012 because it's a PDF. So we'll have to just manually add that in, or if someone else has the magic to do that. I changed it to the very last appendix to make that easier. So that was that. I did make edits across the board for continuity, like instead of saying TA in most places, I spelled out town administrator, spelled out 5 instead of number 5, tried to add serial comma if those were not there, that sort of thing. So I hope it worked. And the other area where I did make some significant changes was in discussing the 2012 report, because that section previously, we hadn't seen the report and we were basically, well, we were entirely going on what Paul remembered about it. So I took out all of that language and just copied language directly from that report about what it covered and what it was for. So hopefully that's not controversial at all. But I am not married to any of this. I did add one additional thing about where data in the minority report came from. So that's in the sort of rebuttal section by the majority. Just to clarify that Harriet had done additional research that was not shared with the rest of the committee, so that we weren't able to use that, and it was inconsistent with the reported data. So and again, we can talk about that, but I just wanted clarity on that. There was a small change made in a minority report about it, but it just said that there were some verbal interviews done, but it didn't say what was done with them or not done with them. So.
I have a scanner, so I can try to scan that document in. I don't know if that will help get it into this document, but we can try.
Right. Once we have a final version of this, I can scan it all into one document. I just couldn't put it into the electronic version, but when we have a final PDF, if that's what we're looking for at the end, then I can absolutely stick that in.
Yeah, I could also, I mean, we can print the PDF and just combine the various PDFs. I could do that if need be.
Yeah, just for this version, it just didn't make sense. But the final document is that report is in the folder. Hopefully people read it. It's actually really interesting. And a whole big can of worms I'm glad we didn't have to open up ourselves. Frankly, it's like a whole other committee is going to have to deal with that at some point, which is what we said, but at least they don't have to start from scratch. Even though it was 10 years ago, not a whole lot has changed in terms of the structure of the select board and the town administrator in Wenham. So I think it's all pretty relevant from what I read anyway.
And before we get into the report, I just want to let you know, I reached out to Catherine Harrison about getting on their agenda on the 18th. She will definitely have us on. She would prefer that we not go with the debate style, but rather that the minority and majority reports get read verbatim to them. I don't see a lot of value in that, but that's what she would like. She believes that the select board would take 2 votes. One would be to add it as a warrant article, and the second would be whether it would be binding or not, which was a little surprising to me, but
Patrick, can you elaborate on that? So the select board non-binding warrant article, what, I mean, I guess the question is, and this is partially me having my town moderator hat on.
What does that mean?
What the purpose of that would even be?
well,
I mean-
we've already done it, right? We already had that. Yeah, I was
Arguably.
a little taken aback by it potentially proceeding as a non-binding vote, because that just we already did that. So it's a question for the select board,
Hey,
what's
Pat, for what it's worth, the minority agrees. We already did that.
yeah.
I don't know where she's coming from, but we'll find out.
Yeah, but we will definitely be on the agenda. I am more than happy to let someone else read reports. I loved reading for my children. I don't really enjoy reading to adults, but I can do it.
A pretty long report to read too. I guess the other question I had about the warrant is the draft warrant article that KP Law wrote for us. Is that, I'm assuming that's a binding warrant article, right?
As drafted, it is.
Okay.
I guess the question is whether the motion that's actually put to the floor, notwithstanding the fact that the warrant article is drafted in the way it is, the motion could be made as a non-binding motion. Or if the motion as originally proposed is made in a binding fashion, someone could move to amend for it to be a non-binding vote. I'm not even sure town meeting time contemplates non-binding votes. It's unfortunately downstairs in my study rather than where I am at the moment. But I guess I know the first thing that I'm possibly going to start looking into for ATM in terms of prep.
And the other question is, I think the only way that it might be non-binding is if then there's also a vote that has to happen afterwards. Would that make it non-binding? Or is it there's the vote
No.
at town meeting and then a vote at the polls?
It would still be an active town meeting.
Okay,
It's just that certain things, as I understand it, require essentially ratification through a ballot question after an affirmative town meeting vote.
okay.
And
So
this
So,
would not
so,
require that.
we could talk to that in the appendix, the FAQ appendix, when we get to that part. And maybe we may want to tweak that a little bit based on this information.
so we're at annual town meeting, and by vote of hands in the air, the motion to go to 5 passes. Then the process is what, that it goes on a ballot a week later, and then it goes into this 1-year process with the state representatives in the legislature. Is that roughly what's meant to happen?
No, so,
No.
yeah, well, you're close, but the timing is different. So it would go to town meeting, simple majority. And then the select board would petition the general court to authorize the change. And this is where, once authorized, it could be subject to a ballot vote or not subject to a ballot vote. And that is the choice of how the warrant article is presented, whether or not it's in there. Or if the general court comes back and says, we require a ballot vote on this. So in the language that is in the warrant article, it says that the select board can amend with direction from general court. So I would say we've already had a straw vote, which was very clear. We'll have potentially another town meeting vote. The ballot vote delays everything for 1 year. But there's a potential that the general court says you need to do it anyway.
So in the warrant article, there's section 3, and there's a note from Lauren that said, if you're not going to put it before the electorate, you can take section 3 out.
And there is also, there's the possibility that the legislature says they want it back in.
Right.
If they do want to see that. And that would be the power of the select board to put it on the ballot the next time. But it won't be a town meeting in April and then ballot in May. Or ballot whenever the ballot is coming. It would be a 1 year, at least a 1 year lag.
So based on that, I definitely am glad that I kept that part of the FAQs. We aren't sure how is anyone else supposed to know. So yeah, I think it needs a little tweaking though, based on that conversation.
Patrick,
Oh, and I forgot,
go
there
ahead.
was one other section of the majority response that I did not feel I should edit because it was responding to something in the minority report, which is now gone. So I wanted the group to look at that. I didn't want to just eliminate it, and I didn't want to edit it myself. So as we go through, that's just one area that I just bracketed and said, we have to deal with this as a group.
So time for a screen share.
Probably.
I'm on it.
I had a couple of questions, Pat.
Sure.
Just for general purposes. First of all, compliments to you, Kristen. It's a great job of pulling this thing together. It
Thank
really flows much better. It's easy to understand what the background is, what the research parameters were, and how the majority feels, minority, etc. So I am personally very comfortable with this. If I'm looking at it properly, it's 34 pages before any additional appendices. Am I looking at the right printout?
No, it's only 22 pages and like a tiny
22.
bit before appendices.
The
Yes,
30
I'm
the
sorry.
34
In
includes everything.
closing remarks are at the top of page 23.
When I printed them out, they're on the bottom of 22. And they
Okay.
run over to
I
the
just
top of
want,
23.
I just want to make
Yeah.
sure I'm looking at the right document.
Yeah,
Okay, second and more substantive point, in you cleaning this up, you have removed the redlining suggestions from the minority as it regards the majority recommendation.
correct.
I understand that, and I can accept that. The majority's responses to the minority report looks like it was successfully moved to the right
Yep.
location.
Yep, and the
So that-
footnote and the other bullet that we all agreed on, those were removed as well.
Right. And just back to the other point, conceding the edits regarding the edits we made to the majority recommendation. I was heavily involved in that, trying simply to tighten it up and whatnot, that goes on and on. But anyway, you're perfectly within majority rights to have it stated the way you stated. I just thought I'd try to help thin it down, but that we're good. So we moved the location, did the edits. Otherwise, small red line edits here and there that were suggested. Were those adopted in your draft, Kristen?
Think so. The ones that you put in,
Yeah.
yes.
Here and there, they were small, not.
Yeah, I
related.
mean, most of them were about header size and things like that, which I was changing anyway.
Right. Okay.
So
Well,
hopefully
I can't
like
speak.
that flow.
I can't speak for Harriet at the moment, but from my own point of view, I'm comfortable with this, and I appreciate the committee's efforts, and especially Kristen, you pulling this together as clearly as it is now. So I'm comfortable.
Great.
That'll turn into a vote whenever you call it, Pat.
Yeah. Oh, wait, and I think we all know Harriet's position, so it can be noted that, we'll wait as long as we can. But it can be noted that comfortably say she's in the minority. So I'm gonna share a screen and share this one. Everyone see it? Excellent. So how do we want to do this? I'll just scroll through.
Go section by section.
Sure.
Could we do the edits in the Word document though, Patrick?
Yes.
I think it'll be cleaner. Yeah.
So let me stop the share. Let me just pull the Word document from my email. I have it here. Okay. Okay, this is now Word.
So of course, the executive summary was done last, so it has the most errors in it. I'm assuming there's no issue with the cover page.
Nothing here. Looks wonderful. Do we
On
want
the-
this? Go ahead,
Yep,
Roger.
You go ahead. I think you're about to say what I was about to say.
Yeah. Do we want this level of granularity in the table of contents? So
I would suggest no. It
Likewise,
makes it look like, oh my gosh, what am I about to get myself into?
Yes, I would agree. So my suggestion would be to remove
The
The
subheads.
the subheaders, yes.
All right.
Don't know.
I can go through and do that afterwards.
Good.
And
No problem.
Kirsten.
We're gonna get to dangerous territory here.
Maybe do below, not on a separate page, but do below and set apart a table of appendices, just so that you have the table of contents and then table of appendices. Kind of will break up the reader's eye a bit when looking through the tables. Just a thought.
Can you scroll down, Patrick, so we can see?
I think it's going to be short enough after all.
Yeah,
So,
I'd rather just leave it all in one place. It just, from a formatting point of view, just easier. But I can, again, take out the subheads.
Oh, that'll shorten it up quite a bit.
Yeah. Okay, so in, there should be a space there, yeah.
That's easy.
And where it says expanding a 3-person executive board, should take out the word has right after that.
There.
And same in the next line, has deliberated, just take out the has. I think there's, I can fix the paragraph, extra paragraph breaks here. In this paragraph, we detail our research findings. It says questions raised during our question, including questions. You can take out the second questions.
So just around, you want to leave the around or?
Yeah.
Leave that.
We do have a footnote in the executive summary, which is a little irritating.
I'll have a
From a reader
suggested
point
edit.
of view.
Kirsten, I'll have a suggested edit that takes care of that.
Okay, all right, so that goes down to the footnote, which then also doesn't explain it. You have to go pretty far into the report. So if you have an edit for that, that would be awesome. But it is detailed later in the report.
Do you want to offer your edit now, Roger?
Sure, I might as well offer the other of my edits as well, just doing one fell swoop. So I would take the parenthetical definition of the committee from the introduction section and move it up here to the first time we mentioned the 3 to 5 subcommittee.
Sorry, where?
So from the on January 19th paragraph of the introduction,
Mhm.
take the parenthetical definition of, so open parens, the committee, close parens, just move that up.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Just that.
Yeah, move that up so that it's at the first point of attribution. It's literally the first line of the executive summary. Yeah.
One of those quotes flipped.
That should be a close quote, not an open. There you go.
I just need to clean up down here. Just a second.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good.
Were the materials prepared by other towns on this question? And were any of them actually in Essex County? I don't know that any were, so I would take out particularly in Essex County in that first paragraph.
No, we looked at Hamilton, but I don't know if we saw any of their
I don't think, yeah.
reports.
I don't think they had any materials per se. I know we had Duxbury, we had Belmont, we had
Okay,
a couple of others, but
Everyone okay with that?
Yes, I agree.
Excellent.
I added that, so my apologies.
no
I wasn't
worries.
here for that part, so
No worries.
I need to take out the comma too.
Yeah.
As well, yeah.
Okay. I think we said that we were gonna say a 4-member majority of the committee.
Sense?
Yeah,
All right, so my edit is just the sentence "one abstained" to change that to read, "one member has abstained from making a recommendation for reasons discussed below." And with that, I think you can take out the footnote. Next paragraph, I might just start it by saying,
Just one second, that reason stated below, does that imply that it's going to be fairly soon? Or should we use other language?
you could say for reasons stated in the summary of recommendation below. I think that's what the section is called.
summary of committee recommendation.
Yep. Okay.
And the footnote gets renumbered to, the remaining footnote gets renumbered to 1.
Yep, they
Everything.
automatically change.
Look at that, perfect.
Auto magic.
I would offer that the next paragraph start in this report we detail.
Yep.
Sorry.
Back up at the top there. Where it says we detail our research findings
What would you like it to say?
in this report.
In this report, comma, we detail.
And it looks like there's an extra space above that paragraph too. Or not.
You've got probably you've got a heart.
Yeah, I'll fix
an
it.
issue. I think committee in that paragraph should be capital C committee.
Okay.
Final paragraph of the executive summary. I wasn't entirely comfortable with the adjective relevant in front of the report because it makes it sound like it's relevant to our charge. So I would just delete that and just say a report by a prior, I think it was called the Government Study Committee.
So delete relevant.
It was called the Government Study Committee.
Yes, yeah, it was. It's a GSC. as opposed to a
Government
TC.
Study Committee, yeah.
And I would also change this would to might.
May. Yeah,
May?
Yeah,
May.
great.
Okay, that's it for me on the executive summary.
Anyone else? Right, to the introduction.
The last paragraph, second sentence, I would start it with we instead of the committee. So next page. The second sentence.
We.
So instead of the committee, just the second one, right after 2021. Nope, go back. Up at the top of the paragraph.
This
Second
right here.
sentence. No, the second
Oh,
sentence.
oh, got it.
Great.
It's a lot of committees, but hey, it's fine.
Yeah, nothing really changed around here.
Everyone good here?
Yes.
All good?
That last 2 lines of the background section, we need to revise and insert. We obviously didn't do the public forum final vote.
Right. Yeah, you can cut that part. And do we,
I would just delete the second to last sentence.
Delete the whole. Oh, delete the draft of the report was, because we don't need that really.
Right.
because it says it on the cover.
And then the date on the last sentence would be, in principle, today's date if we do the
Yep.
vote.
Yeah.
Right?
Let's change it. Oh, sorry. There we go.
The only thing I had in this section was changing Manchester to Manchester by the Sea, which is under the quantitative data summary section.
Kirsten, I hate that.
That is their name though.
But that
so
is the town name.
I
it is the
was
name.
I was working in the town when that happened, and that was a sore vote.
Oh, I remember that. I mean, I was a youngster when that happened, but
Hey,
I
I was
remember
working.
that.
I was working in a boatyard, and the old salts were not happy.
I bet.
Yeah. Neither was the
What is it?
MBTA.
It's Manchester BTS in the red box, right?
Probably
Can we
just
change it to
for
Manchester
for
on 128?
space. So that paragraph I pulled from the FAQs because I thought it was nice and clear. So that is a new paragraph to this section.
So change.
Just type
Okay.
in by the sea. Yeah.
Didn't I tell you I'm gonna try to get us to change to Wenham by the pond?
I know. They're just rubbing it in that they're oceanfront.
Well, you know, everyone was so confused with Manchester, New Hampshire.
Yes.
Yep.
In
It was
the
awful.
next paragraph, can you add a comma after Nahant on the last line there?
Yes.
And Deirdre, did these figures have names? Because there was some like weird formatting stuff, and I just wanted to make sure that the name didn't get lost in translation. Or was it just figure 1, figure 2, figure 3?
Yeah, it was just figure.
Okay, good.
Here, keep going.
In the paragraph that starts with the third group identified for key informants, there was a typo in the second to last line. So when it says who was not a select board member when at the time of expansion, I think when can be deleted.
Yeah.
And I did add in the bold stuff I added in just to, if someone was skimming, I felt like it would help. Otherwise, no changes to this were made. And we've already been through this, I think. Oh, here it's Manchester BTS. So we might want to be consistent there.
It pains me to write it.
And add in an and before Rockport. Why not?
So Kirsten, this is just a formatting thing.
Yep.
I had tried to get the figure charts wrapped to the paragraph that they're referenced. So here it might make sense to try to move figure 4 up so that.
Yeah, I did not move the figures. One of them was, if we scroll down a little bit, there were two that were blobbing into each other and one was like running over the other one. So I did change the size of the box a little so to avoid that, but otherwise I did not move them around at all. So we definitely can do that if they're in the wrong spot.
Yeah, I think that would help the reader to just have the figure right there.
Yeah.
To the paragraph that it's referenced in.
Okay.
The text wraps automatically.
Yeah, I just have to drag it to the right spot. So I would suggest we do that at the end, just
Yes.
in case there are other formatting changes that happen in the meantime.
Anything people want to change here?
The question of below figure 6. Before you go to survey data. Or figure 6, I'm sorry, we haven't got to it yet.
Yep, but I'm there now.
My point was, we had a minority comment there about, the size of the town, which is really 2,500. We don't count Gordon. Those aren't registered voters. They're just students. So, I mean, this is where, yeah, maybe 50 and their parent, faculty, whatever. This was what I think Paul was concerned to clarify. You guys can't accept that clarification?
This would be.
I'm not sure that belongs in the background.
Uh-huh.
That was my initial reaction to that edit. Mike, as
So
Yeah.
the majority.
maybe there's somewhere else where it's more appropriate, where data is being talked about.
Well, isn't it like the quantitative data summary? is where
It's
we talk
also
about
in
that.
it's in the section where, rightfully so, the majority looks at communities across our radar screen and, puts them into elements of size. And the little guys are largely 3-member boards, and the bigger guys are 5, et cetera. And this is just to kibitz a bit about that without trying to be nasty, just a comment.
Yeah, I mean, but other towns also have colleges, so to me, that it wasn't
Mhm.
a particularly persuasive thing.
Okay.
Because yeah, college students can register here and there, like there's plenty of colleges all over New England. So it's probably a fairly common issue.
I mean,
Like Hamilton
North
has the same problem, right?
I was thinking more particularly North Andover. That's Merrimack,
Yeah.
So. But Mike, I think,
Okay,
if you want to,
I'm not in any big thing
What
about
I-
it. I just wanted to bring it up.
what I would personally say is that if you want to add that to the minority recommendation section or the minority's response,
Yeah,
then
put it in there.
Yeah.
put it in,
Okay, that's a good
Definitely.
idea, Roger.
That's actually what the select board is most interested in. This is all really nice work, but I don't, they're more interested in the recommendations.
Right.
So that's where would carry a little more weight.
Okay, so when we get to the right place, we'll park it there. Sorry, go ahead, Chris.
I would personally bring this summary of committee recommendation below the table.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll move that table. So the table wasn't there initially, so. Yeah.
All right. I really or make sure that I don't miss Harriet. I do wish she was here right now. But anyway. So we'll leave these blank for now. We'll fill it in at the end.
Change on, I'm going to say my sentence because it is my sentence. Can we change since to because? Abstain from the vote because.
Oh, yeah, got it.
Because, yeah.
Sorry, guys, which paragraph?
We're in the summary of the committee recommendation. Sorry, Kirsten, I'm a stickler that since is a temporal modifier.
Yeah, I don't think I wrote that, so I take no offense.
Someone changed it from the,
Oh, maybe I did.
because I see it in the red line. So
I don't know if this goes without saying, but I just wonder if there's a little bit more that needs to be added. Like he would preside over the debate and the vote on the question, and therefore doesn't want to be perceived as biased in his opinion or something. I mean, maybe it's self-explanatory, but is
Yeah.
that the point? I missed that debate. I was at a planning board meeting that night when you explained your position, Roger, so I don't really know. And I just wonder if there's something more needs to be said there, or maybe not.
Right,
okay.
or like impartiality.
Right, yeah.
Good way to put it.
Recuse, the usual stuff.
So please note the committee members abstain from the vote because should this question come before town meeting, he would preside over the debate and vote on the question. Mr. Smerridge thus expresses no recommendation on the question so as to maintain impartiality.
That's good.
Thanks, Dave. Good comment.
All right. Majority, ready to move to the majority recommendation?
I think on the second bullet where it says a board of 5, it should say a select board of 5 members.
Do something similar here, expanding the board to 5 members.
It also occurred to me later that in Appendix B, which is the pros and cons, it doesn't say that they're the pros and cons of going to 5 in the appendix. So when we get there, let's just refer back to that.
Good
And
point.
I also I put in perceived pros and cons because we had talked about that. We don't know if they're actually pros and cons. They were just what people's perceptions were.
Sense.
I think you have to check the numbers for the public survey because I think it was different above. Someplace it was 22 respondents, but then up above, I think it said 32.
Let me see if I can still access the survey. I don't think I can on this machine.
It's in the paragraph right above where your screen is now. Right there, right there. So this part says 34 people and 67%. So we just have to make it consistent.
Yeah.
Whichever one is correct.
Let's I received the actual survey. We did have 34 responses.
And 67%. Okay, so that just needs to be consistent.
So we're
Good catch.
Scroll down. So this one's correct. It looks
this one's correct. Yep.
so here, the last bullet.
It's actually 68.
Oh, and the top line of that sentence page, can you change 6 to from number to spelled out 6? 10 and under we're spelling out.
High school grammar, right?
Just copy editing.
Yep. I might change this just to the suggested, instead of in order to, just to 2, just to shorten it. To rise to these challenges.
Sure.
Sure.
I could offer something.
That's really substantive, Patrick.
I caught the space before too, so.
Patrick, I wonder about going up the last paragraph under, and I don't mean to, you just saved some words and now I'm gonna add them back in. Undertakes creating and implementing a master plan. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
Hopefully implementing.
Hopefully.
Where are we?
Last
Yeah,
sentence.
Second to last sentence of that paragraph. Or second to last line, rather.
Yeah, right there to the left. Yep.
Yeah, as Wenham is undertaking.
No.
Undertakes creating and implementing. Oh, but then we have to take us forward
try.
through implementation.
Oh,
So
right.
maybe scratch that.
Okay.
In the minority recommendation, are we there yet?
Yeah, we're getting there.
I didn't have anything till then.
Here necessitating the rule of necessity.
Yeah.
How about enacting the rule of necessity?
Requiring.
Requiring, yeah.
Oh, and I also changed that. Go back up. It had said should be avoided where I changed it to wherever possible. I think before it was like
Yeah.
at all costs or something.
Yeah.
It just seemed a little dramatic to me. Because you only invoke it if you really have to do it in order to keep business going. So yeah. Yeah. And Deirdre, I really appreciated how you underlined, like all the stuff here that's underlined came out of the data. So it's just directly using other people's words to support the case.
I have a major substantive suggestion here where we get to the minority recommendation title in bold.
Yep.
Punch that to the top of the next page. So
Sure.
it starts fresh.
Yeah. We could also put a line at the bottom of the majority recommendation and then, yeah, insert a page break.
You want a line and a page break, or?
Yeah. In case the page break, something happens to it, but.
So maybe do that on both. I can't remember if the majority started.
I think I
Did it already do that?
I would make that consistent, because otherwise,
yeah.
if you haven't made it consistent, it's going to look to some readers like.
Yeah. No, I
George
think
before.
I would add it in here.
Yeah.
And then there's
Make
four
this-
sections: majority, minority, response. So in between each of those. Yeah.
Yeah,
and
then
this
the conclusion.
this title goes to the top of the next page as well, right? That's
Yeah.
what you're saying.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, it will keep it shorter if it's not a page break. But we could add extra spacing, but if you think it needs to be a page break, that's fine.
Well, in a sense, the recommendations of the two parties are the heart of the matter, and I would like the public to be totally clear on which is which.
Yeah, we do just go back to the committee afterwards. So,
And Harriet has joined us.
hi,
All right.
Harriet.
Welcome, Harriet.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, Harriet.
So we already took the vote, so now it's 4-1 to 1.
No, we did it. We waited.
Chair humor from Patrick Waddell.
Indeed,
I'm gonna
indeed.
add something.
We are working our way through the draft, and we are at page 14, I believe, Harriet, if you have
Oh,
it.
I see.
Kirsten, I would prefer that you add the line and the page break.
Okay, I can do that. I'll write it in.
Now we were to the minority.
And this is where we capture that thing on the number of residents, 2,500, not like Gordon, whatever that paragraph needs to be plugged in here. Is that how we left it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would suggest in the justification for staying with the select board of 3, that in the third to the bottom line, you say strong town administrator role rather than just strong town administrator.
Yep.
And you want the population note here, or
I would think it could either be a standalone paragraph or a footnote to that section, but somewhere in there before we get to the minority conclusion.
Yep.
What do you think, Kristen?
You might want to put it in the history section
Yep,
at the top.
yep. We felt that Paul made a useful comment there. We'd just like it included at some spot.
so here you talk about the small town of Wenham. So it might be best right here, right before
Sure.
usually.
Yeah, try it out. Just put that small, what is it, 4 sentences suggestion in there.
Oh, let me go grab that. And that was in Paul, that was in your red line.
Right. Page 7 of my red line.
To move that to drafts.
I think it's the one to the left. That one.
Yeah, this one. Okay, good. Six.
Getting close.
There we go.
There it is.
Right. So
You could grab that and turn it black and put it in the paragraph.
keep text. Keep text.
That kind of breaks up the 2 thoughts though, one about the select board size
Yeah.
and one about the size of the town. So
Maybe it belongs in its own size category. So,
Population,
yeah,
yeah, you could do
No.
another,
reason for
Okay.
the question, history, population being that transfer we just did,
yeah.
justification for staying with the board of 3. Well, you want that title to be up on the next the above paragraph, right?
or I'm just gonna take the piece out of here, put it under population, and then we can move the whole entire thing.
Okay, sorry.
So this is a different point here.
Voters is the end of that block.
Okay,
Change this to the majority.
mhm. Yes, whatever is. Okay, so thank you for accommodating that. That's the view of the minority. Yeah,
Else?
minority conclusion. And then at the end of that paragraph ending with the words traffic flow, we dump to another page,
I agree.
right? Keep it all clean and clear. Then you have the majority responses to the minority.
And then a new page for minority responses.
Yeah,
This
what
would
happened
be-
to all, hey, what happened to my nice words, Kirsten, that were respectfully?
That's what I was saying. I didn't add in your edits to the majority report.
Oh, okay, at all, I see. Well, if you guys are feeling charitable, you could say we respectfully disagree with the premise, et
Exactly.
cetera.
We can discuss that if you want.
But then again, generically, we're being respectful, so it's not just about these paragraphs.
I'm fine adding respectfully.
I'll say in some professional communities, there is a significant difference between saying I respectfully agree, disagree, and I disagree.
Yeah,
That came out just recently, right? Supreme Court decision.
Yeah, yeah. There's a very long history of breaking down when someone respectfully disagrees versus just flat out disagrees.
And what's the
Well-
difference?
If you just disagree, it means you're basically telling the other side to go F itself, you know, like,
Oh,
whereas respectfully disagree is, I see your point, I don't
Yeah.
agree with it, here's my
I do
counter.
I respect your ability to offer it, et cetera, et
Yeah.
cetera.
If you drop out the respectfully, you're basically saying you're
I
out
mean,
on a,
I think it's
You're out
fine
on
to
a
add
limb.
respectfully. I don't necessarily think that every comment in both rebuttals is in fact respectful, but I guess that's a different issue.
We haven't got time to go into that.
I do think the numbers were wrong, Mike, in that where it says 5 to 5,
Mhm.
my recollection is correct. But it's worth checking, I think.
well, this is, do you mean in the justification for staying with the select board of 3 and advice of Wenham selectmen, a former Wenham selectman?
It says, yeah, and I don't have a
Yeah.
printed copy, unfortunately. My printer doesn't work, so
So,
I'm doing this from memory, but
yeah, so this is where I added.
in the minority section you just were working on,
Yeah. It
it
is
said- the
inconsistent.
TAs in the data set was 2 for, 1 against, and the former select people were 4 of them against and 3 for.
Right.
So I think it ends up 6-5.
So this
If
is
I'm doing that
different.
correctly.
This is different data. So when we get to page 17, I added a note about that.
Do you
in the
think that's
response.
different data too? That's piece?
I do.
Yeah, I'm afraid I didn't draft it. I don't know the background as much. It was Paul. He was just hung up on the numbers. All right, well, if we're good to go, then carry on.
So in the rebuttal or the response rather, in number 3, this is the one that I did not rework, but since the minority had changed, remove the word bloated and kind of,
Right,
then this doesn't, it now refers to something that's no longer there. So so I would suggest we look at 3 and 4 together. 4, I added in. Just to clarify that the data we're talking about is different data.
No, sorry, I was talking about in the minority.
I saw where you were talking,
Right.
All right, nobody knows what I'm talking about, right?
no, I read it.
You're talking about the data not being consistent?
Right here.
Andrea?
No, not right.
In the population paragraph?
No, right here.
Wait, no,
Um,
it was just there on the screen. Hold on.
Yeah, go
I
up,
think
back
it
up
was
a little
down.
bit. Under population, there's some data.
Oh, yeah.
So if
I
you
got
also count the verbal responses, more of this group stay with 3. So those verbal responses are not in the data set that was available to the whole committee. So Mike and Harriet, it's up to you if you want to reference data that's not available to the whole committee and the public. Just your minority report. So, and you can make a decision on anything you want, but I added clarification about that.
We'd like to keep the reference to the numbers in the way it was drafted, and if you need to caveat it in some
Yep.
way, go ahead. And then we get to, hang on, the conclusion, the minority conclusion, right? And then we take the majority responses to the top of the next page.
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
going to add in a line and a break between each of these.
Mhm.
I am in favor of inserting respectfully here.
Sure.
The majority, okay with that? To these points,
Your points will appear as originally drafted, without the redlining that we were suggesting. We understand that.
So
I don't know if
Item 4.
anybody's talking because I can't hear anything. Can people hear me?
yes.
Yes,
Yes.
you do appear frozen.
I think I have to get out and come back.
Okay, we'll wait for you.
All right, my whole screen's frozen. None of you have moved for 5 minutes.
So in the meantime, maybe everybody on the majority especially can read 3 and 4.
Okay. So when the voted piece is now gone from the minority report.
Right.
Just gonna pull that up on a different screen.
and it looks like new number 4 in the majority responses is the way you dealt with that other matter, Kristen.
Right. Yeah. And now that I'm realizing that it's in more than one section of the minority recommendation. So I would just change in number 4, instead of in its section, just say in the minority recommendation.
Mhm. Okay, well. Okay. And you're putting my favorite word, respectfully in items 2 and 3 as well as 1, right?
I think
Sure.
3 we might be able to remove.
Actually,
Okay.
take out in the beginning of 4. Sorry.
But item 3 does also take up the cost issue.
So I think you'd have to go back to the minority report to see if this is even rebutting anything that's in it anymore. So it's on page 15 under justification for staying with a select board of 3, would probably be the most relevant area. But the argument has changed to be more about having a strong town administrator rather than a bloated board. So.
So I would I would suggest we might change that number 3 to we respectfully disagree with the conclusion that a board of 5 will be less efficient. Or words to that effect.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Respectfully disagree. Presents a less effective or less.
Board of 5 will be less efficient. Would be less
mean,
efficient.
I think we could actually take out the whole paragraph because we
There's no reference.
already made a good, I think a good argument for 3 being, I mean,
I'm
5
fine
being
with it.
effective.
I'm totally okay with that, taking out 3 and taking out 3.
Peter, are you back up and running? Just checking.
Deidre?
It's frozen again.
We do get into the budget, the financial implications later on.
So I'm fine taking out 3 altogether.
Deirdre, are you back? Oh, shoot.
I don't know if she can hear us.
She said in the chat that she can't.
Ugh.
Mhm. Okay,
Okay,
that's
good.
okay.
Okay, so I'm going to remove 3 altogether. So we bold all of our rebuttals, except this one. What would be bolded?
Well, it's not a rebuttal, it's more of a point of clarification.
Yeah. Yep.
Is that okay with everybody?
Yes,
I'm fine with it. I'm just asking a question of Deirdre. So let's go to the minority responses. So again, this will be on a fresh page.
So this wasn't supposed to all be in bold.
no,
You want anything in bold or
just
Percentage?
match it, just sort of match it with yours.
okay.
The headers.
Yep.
Back here.
And move it to the next page.
I'm going to do that at the end.
So this would be bolded, not underlined, and
So Mike, I'm going to suggest that any reference to the Book of Woke is not respectful.
Okay,
And in particular, the only references to diversity in the report and the research was particularly around age. That how, I mean, I'm not sure when the last time we had a select board member under 50 was.
yeah, but watch out, it's you're going woke there, it's ageism, you get all this craziness, but anyway, take the woke out.
Thank you.
Just,
I
you
mean, I
gotta
think
try, you
that-
gotta try,
But I think that just on the face of it, there is not a lot of diversity in terms of our
Yeah.
select board. That,
Well,
At least on the-
we could respectfully debate that,
okay.
but yeah, fix the language the way we just talked.
Thank you. There's a extra space after parens there. And the period should move up.
oh yeah. Change this one.
And it can be unbolded.
Yeah.
And typo in board, right there, yeah.
Yep.
In the past. With the select board.
Oh,
in
yeah.
The past.
Yeah.
Very good.
So this is the kind of line that would be after the each section, and then I'll
Yeah,
add a page break. In the first paragraph of this section, second to last line, town council has drafted a warrant that includes both options. I think we should just add in below. Or both of the options below, because there are two options here.
Includes both. Oh, so we can just put parentheses, appendix C.
I'll still put in below because it's the options are in this section.
Okay.
You could say
Oh.
the warrant is in, or you could say drafted a warrant, parens appendix C.
Or the,
The warrant is, draft warrant is in appendix C. Or is appendix C, yeah, perfect. I have to say, even as a member of the committee, my eyes glazed over at this description, so I don't know if anybody else felt the same, but hopefully people who run elections will understand. I did add this line in number 1, a potential drawback to this approach is that a candidate will not know going in how long of a commitment they're making.
which makes sense. It was trying to come back in.
I'm gonna leave now.
All right,
There
thank you.
she is. Hi.
You can take the week off.
It froze again.
We can hear you.
Oh, we can see you. Can you hear us?
Oh,
You're muted.
I'm frozen.
Hmm.
Move it again.
want to scroll down, Patrick?
Sorry.
All right. So in the financial implications section, the second paragraph, I brought in from the old FAQs and eliminated that part of the FAQs. And I will also fix the spacing in this line spacing. Anyone? Oh, I would add each after where it says $7,500. You know, everyone is going to run to that appendix to check out how much everyone gets paid in other towns. That's going to be the hot part of the report. But I think this section really clearly gives everyone the facts about what the cost would be at the current rate, where we are compared to everyone else and what the options are and how those would be implemented. I really like this section a lot.
You said you'd change the font, make them consistent. This looks like a different font.
That was intentional as a type of subhead, but yes, I will. It was more the line spacing is a little bit different in this first paragraph.
Okay,
So I'll fix that.
okay.
Could you change benefits to employee benefits?
Well,
If
Under
that's what
the-
you mean, or
Yeah,
say benefit package rather than just,
in the first line, it says benefit package.
I know, but they,
So I think the question is, are they employees?
well, if they aren't
Um,
employees, they don't get benefits.
By section 32 of MGL, it is the employee benefit package that they talk about. The stipend makes them employees. As
See,
and to-
somebody's gonna think benefits means benefits of one way or the other.
Sure, we can add in employee benefits package.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's about money, not ego satisfaction of being a select board member.
Right.
Right. So in the first line, also add in employee.
Yep.
And can everybody just confirm that the current elected positions in Wenham receiving a stipend of $1 or more are those things? 'Cause that was in the FAQs, but we had not gone over that as a committee.
I can
Lately.
confirm that the moderator is included.
$1.
Oh,
Actually,
$50.
technically, the moderator's budget is 50. I don't
So you can
never been
attend the
allocated
It's
dinner.
in
50,
recent
but it's
years.
not a stipend, is it?
Yeah,
I
it is.
just.
It's
that's
a
the stipend.
budget.
No,
could spend
it's a
50.
it's a stipend.
I don't think so.
It technically is.
I thought it was for expenses, like to go to a conference or whatever.
That's under the statute that counts. It's neither here nor there.
Mhm.
So I did put in a note in the paragraph that says second town meeting could vote to zero out the select board. And then I put in parentheses salary line item, because I don't know if they, again, also have an expense line item that's included
There
under
is.
select board. Right. So I would say stipend line item, maybe,
Mhm.
because they probably have like printing expenses or thank you flowers or something,
Well, they can't do flowers,
well,
I
whatever.
can tell
you
you
know what I
that,
mean.
but
Yeah.
they could be expenses to go to a conference.
Right. And I also added in, if the town were inclined to ensure that select board members, I think I added in, and other part-time elected officials. Because I don't see the point of having this discussion just about select board members, but then Roger can sign up for the employee benefit package with his $1 salary.
He gets $50.
Whatever,
Well,
you
he gets
know.
50.
50, wow. Okay. Yeah. So I think it's
Almost there.
pretty
almost there.
straightforward for people.
Deirdre, are you in a better place?
So this
Oh,
next, we hear you. Can you hear us?
Now I can finally, sorry about that.
Good, good.
All
good.
right, so this next section is where I blended some stuff from the FAQ that was nicely written, and where the prior government study committee report information, I reworked because previously it was all like, here's what Paul said. And now we have the report. So rather than just take it out saying we couldn't find the report, I actually pulled stuff out of the report and put it in here to explain what it is. So this is going to be.
Just to be on top
newer.
of things, Roger, looking in the budget book, $50 is for expenses for the moderator.
Okay, I'll
Not
take
for
it
sa-
for here. It
Not for
was,
salaries.
it was described to me as a stipend.
Yeah, but it isn't.
Okay, well, it
Because
doesn't
it's
matter.
very clear for selectmen, they have salaries and they have an expense line.
Anyway, let's get on with finishing this.
Where it says question at the last line, that bracket should go away.
Town administrator should probably be capitalized. For the specifics.
And in the government study committee report from 2012, they called it a town executive on
Mhm.
purpose to avoid getting into the name stuff.
You are now on page 22,
Yes,
right? So that bold stuff added about the prior study
Yeah.
will now be
It's not-
changed.
it's not going to be bold anymore.
Right, yep.
And it should also change from Appendix E to Appendix F. I moved it to the end.
And
And
you
we
got the-
lost a paragraph break there, right
Okay.
where you are, Patrick. Yeah.
There you go, you got that.
Should be appendix F.
In the first sentence, since we've got a new subhead, I think we should change this question to the question of the town administrator's role.
Yep, that's great.
So the tagline, role of the select board, gets put in bold and the right font. Third paragraph down, fourth paragraph. Role of the select board as a title.
Oh. Yes,
Um,
so just mirror this.
No, that was a
Oh.
a subsection of the prior government study committee.
Well, then there was one subsection that was, I had that same,
Yeah, so it could be town administrator role and then role of the select board like that.
So. Why did that do that? How do we say it?
just a thought, instead of having subheaders,
Mm.
maybe before that paragraph on the select board, we just say additionally, the 20 or additionally, the government study committee also examined the role of the select board, period, and then we just go with what is there.
So that's in the section above a little bit.
Well, part of it is
Oh, you're right.
2012. Part of it's 2012, and this is about, the future, this paragraph, right? Regardless of the select board size.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah,
looking
That's
forward.
why I didn't realize it was relating back to the prior committee's work. I thought this was a totally independent thought.
Yeah, no, it's part of the,
Okay.
Maybe the case, Kirsten, but I know
just double check.
this text doesn't,
Mhm.
paragraph doesn't refer to the prior committee at all.
This is one where we acknowledge it's not
Yeah.
part of our charge, right? And say, hey,
Yeah.
guys, you should look at this.
Yeah, so that it could be a total new subhead. That's
Okay. Can you believe it? Closing remarks.
Well, I had one more edit on the last paragraph of the prior government study committee section. That was to add the word "for" before implementing, and then delete the words "have responsibility." That way, because it says
Mhm.
that way it reads town executive be responsible for personal administration, for implementing policies, and for the operation of town hall.
Just looking for where that is.
right above role of the select board in that paragraph, where it says the government study committee did an extensive breakdown.
Third line.
Yeah.
Before implementing, add the word.
Where it says town executive.
So add in 4. Yeah.
And then next
Third
line,
line.
take out have responsibility.
Perfect.
And then this becomes a separate subheading.
Yeah.
So and
So
we,
you could take out role of town administrator then.
And put it in the Times Roman font.
Or
Yeah, I'll fix those.
whatever.
I think it would clarify it if 2012 was put in a couple of places in that above section, because it's a little confusing. It says prior,
Yeah,
just say 2012 government study, and then the third paragraph, the 2012 government study committee, because it kind of is confusing whether it's us or them.
yeah, I
Makes-
tried to put in like the current committee or the
I
committee of
know.
2011.
It's
Yeah.
still a
Makes it
little,
more clear. It makes
Yeah.
it more clear.
Yeah,
so instead of before, we'll put in one of the town administrator, the role of the.
well, the
town
next
administrator.
line has it detailed,
Okay.
so.
no, I'm saying in the heading,
What if we
Instead
just
of-
define the prior government study committee as the GSC? And throughout these 3 paragraphs, use the GSC.
Yeah,
I would say the 2012 GSC to be really
well,
explicit.
but it
Well,
was
it
appointed
went from
2011 to
2013,
13,
so-
yeah. All right, I can clean that up. And I did thank Paul in here for that.
Yeah, that was good.
In the closing remarks, I added in a line about Trudy for helping us with our research. It occurred to me also that we might want to thank the TAs who are on the committee, but who aren't around anymore.
Yeah.
And that this might be the place to do that, because technically they were on the committee, so we didn't list them on the cover page, but here would be a good place to do that. So that was Tom and Ryan, right?
Yes,
Right. And then Appendix A becomes a new page as we end
Yeah.
with respectfully submitted.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there'll be a page break there.
Yeah, I would suggest each appendix start
Yep.
the homepage.
Yeah, I think
Right.
that was the intention.
And these attachments are the actual documents not requiring our editing tonight. They are what they are, right, Pat?
I believe
Um,
so.
All the appendices attached
Yes.
to the document are the appendices. They have already been, you know,
Appendix B is our document. And I think, as I mentioned earlier, I think it should say perceived pros and cons of a 5-member board.
oh yeah, I see what you mean.
Because otherwise it's like pros and cons of what?
Yep. Yep, so the text of the page is okay, the heading needs to be changed.
Yep.
C was done by Lauren, so it's just an attachment, we don't touch it. The list of money is what it is, we don't touch it.
Yeah.
Appendix E is a legal memo.
Okay, so no, Appendix E is came from our FAQs.
I see.
So we should review this.
Just let me go back to thanking the town administrators. Given the sensitive circumstances of Ryan's departure, I really don't know what has gone on and don't want to delve into it. Do we just thank the town administrators who served as part of the committee? Or do we want to name them?
I think we should name them, and because we did pick their brains on town management topics. You know, I would say thank you to interim town administrator Tom Younger and town administrator Ryan Ferrara for sharing their professional expertise about Massachusetts town administration, something like that.
Yeah, I mean,
With the committee?
whatever's happened in the last few weeks, Ryan was there helping us when he was on the clock, so what the heck?
You could say who served in ex officio capacities on the committee. During their tenures. And we've been making ex officio italics in this report. Deirdre, are you still frozen or are you back now?
I'm back.
Okay, great.
So page break here, no
Yep.
changes. See pros and cons.
The heading again.
Yeah. Of a 5-member board or something like that.
Just long, strange heading, but
Okay.
This is all from KP Law.
Yeah, and then wait, go back up to the bottom of the KP Law thing. So that note was on the side of the document. I just put it here at the bottom. And I'll fix the font on that.
It makes sense being there.
I think so. Okay, so this is what we really need to look at. And this was my opinion that I think we should leave it in because I think it helps people understand the process. And that's not described anywhere else in the report, but it's up to you.
The first section, we should probably put in, this may require a vote at the ballot.
Okay. And is it up to 1 year or at least a year, or do we just want
Or
to take
they
that
have-
line out?
It should be, this process can take more than 1 year. It
Okay.
could take 2 years, so.
So why don't we just take that out? Because we don't know.
Yeah, if we have to go to a ballot, it's at least another year. And it's probably a year to get it through the legislature as well.
But it's conjecture.
Yeah. Mhm.
Now in here, we had a town council has been asked to provide the text of a warrant article. We have that, so we could get rid of that, right?
Yes.
I mean, this whole thing could be taken out as well.
Yeah, it's redundant.
Unless there are people wondering why it didn't happen. I don't know.
I think there probably are people wondering.
Okay, leave it in.
So we could say was formed and has made this recommendation to the current select board. Something like that. No, at the bottom of the second paragraph.
Result.
Because by the time they read this, they'll have the recommendation in hand.
Was formed and provided. All right, this recommendation. Oh, no, it's appendix. Yep.
Or we could say was formed to provide a recommendation.
Yeah, that's better.
We're in the home stretch.
Yep.
Was there.
So this is sort of redundant.
Yes. So we should probably get rid of this one. Thoughts? We're okay with getting rid of this?
I think it's redundant.
Yeah, I'm good with it.
Any suggested edits here? Fine.
Oh, it should change to 3 or 5 member select board in the header. And A before 3.
And then we'll just attach that report as is right here.
Yep. That's it.
That's it.
Bravo.
All right, now let's take some votes. I will call the roll and you can state your preference for 3 or 5. Hodges merge.
Abstain.
Kirsten Alexander,
5.
Mike Lucy,
3.
Deirdre Parati,
5.
Dave Anderson,
5.
Davis. Your vote, Harriet.
Oh, I didn't hear you. 3.
Patrick Waddell is a 5. So our final, and this is the final vote. We have the same 4, 2, 1. So let me change that up in the body earlier. Was
No, just 4.
it was 4, yeah.
You can pull them from the cover page. You wanna just cut
I
paste?
never spell your names.
All right.
They
We just
are right
got-
there on the Zoom.
You got Kirsten correct. That's amazing.
Yeah. I'm just making sure we have them in alphabetical order. Spelled it right, good.
Not Alexander.
Anderson.
Anderson.
I
Oh,
thought
yeah.
Alexander.
I had it, damn. There we go.
A lot of pressure, Patrick.
I am not a typist. Oh. I think I spelled that right.
Wow. Excellent.
Harry, is it 1T or 2? One,
One
right?
T. Thank you.
Sure. If for some reason it's my phone is 2.
Mhm.
Michael.
Michael,
Hey, just remember that when you come up to speak at town meeting.
oh, you're gonna get it.
Patrick, you got to put in respectfully.
Oh,
You got to put in respectfully.
Oh,
Oh,
Okay,
gosh.
do we have any other places where that needs to be put in?
Yes, there was one other place.
It was.
was it in the executive summary?
Probably.
No, we didn't do names. We just did numbers.
No, I already put the numbers in there. so.
I don't think it is anywhere else.
Yeah.
All right, so Kirsten still has some minor formatting changes to make.
Yep.
But are we ready to vote to accept this as our report, our final report to the select board?
Yes.
Motion.
That motion.
You need a motion? Go ahead.
Yes,
I'll move it.
I'll second.
Second.
excellent.
So we're moving to adopt
The
this
report.
report as amended tonight as our final report.
Yes, to be submitted
That's
to the
right.
select board prior to our January 18th meeting.
With
Ready
the
for a vote?
minor cleanups that I'm doing tomorrow, as discussed. Yeah.
No, nothing of substance,
Substantive.
just,
Just formatting.
Right.
all right. Harriet,
Aye.
Dave,
Aye.
Deirdre,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Aye,
Kirsten,
aye.
Roger.
Aye.
Hey, look at that, a vote.
Respectfully.
Yeah, respectfully.
Respectfully. There's been a lot of very refreshing discussion and deliberation. It's been a pleasure working with you guys. I think this is a good deal.
I agree.
So unanimously adopted as our report. We are going to be on the agenda on the 18th. I don't know if everyone was here when I discussed it, but they basically, Catherine has expressed that she just wants the minority and majority recommendations read verbatim. And that's probably all we're going to get. But happy to have members of either group read it.
Would she be happy if we summarized it as opposed to read it verbatim? As long as we don't get into a debate, right?
Yeah, well, she was at the, she watched the last meeting, the beginning of the last meeting, and she said, basically, I don't want any of that going on.
Oh, why?
Um,
Yeah.
So she specifically said verbatim, so. But again, I can read it, someone else can read it, it doesn't matter to me.
Okay,
But anyway, so this is adopted as soon as Kirsten makes the just minor changes. I will ship it off to the select board. And I will post a meeting for the 18th. Just if we're in the audience, that way at least we have posted a meeting.
Mhm.
and it's a Zoom,
Yes,
most likely. Yep,
everything is Zoom these days.
yep.
Does she want the responses as well, or just the primary?
Um,
Probably
can ask that-
primary.
Yeah,
think it's
I can ask
important.
that question when I submit it, exactly what she wants to hear from us.
I told you
I-
guys to be briefer. Now look at all the stuff you got to read now.
And then the report will also get posted on the website and we can disseminate to people.
Yes, yes. And then I don't know if we want to have a meeting, closer to town meeting, just to talk about the format that we're gonna take there. I'm assuming that we get to town meeting. I guess we can discuss that, or we can set that meeting up later. Because otherwise our work is pretty much done. With the
Patrick,
exception of-
in addition to voting for our recommendation, we took the second vote to adopt the final report. But I see agenda item 7. Do we vote to request presentation to select board as a separate matter?
we might as well. Would you like to make that motion?
I do move that.
I'll second it.
Yep.
Excellent. Kirsten,
Yes.
Roger,
Yes.
Deirdre,
Yes,
Mike,
Yes.
Dave,
Yes.
Harriet,
Yes.
and Patrick Waddell, yes as well. All right, unanimous. I really want to thank all of you. I'm sorry that Ryan and Tom and Paul aren't here to hear my expression of gratitude. This has been great. This has been a fantastic group. So I just want to thank you all. Bless
Thank you, Patrick.
Dave.
Thanks for leading the charge.
My pleasure.
And
And then we need one more motion.
Motion to
Adjourn.
adjourn.
And Patrick, please either post this or can you send me the Word document so that I'm
Yes,
Working on it.
I will-
final version.
yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
All right. Vote to adjourn, Roger,
Yes.
Kirsten,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Deirdre,
yes.
Dave,
Yes.
Harriet,
Yes.
Patrick Waddell, yes as well. Thank you all,
Okay.
folks.
Thanks,
Night,
everyone.
everyone. Good work.
See you soon.